I am never going to take the mickey out of a health and safety briefing again. But, John, dear boy, what's on your mind?
The Canon EOS 5D. It's long been a benchmark amongst high-end digital SLR cameras. Just recently, Canon's launched a new one, the Mark IV. And I wanted to test it against another high-end digital camera, this time from Olympus. It's a bit cheaper and it's mirrorless. I invited Otis along for what promised to be an utterly splendid day out.
We've brought our cameras to a Drift What You Brung event at Santa Pod Raceway.
It's a regular shindig where petrol heads hone their smoky, sideways driving skills. And the perfect place for a high-end camera test of both picture and video quality. I'm using the upgraded version of the legendary Canon 5D DSLR, complete with 4K video recording, a new LCD touchscreen and a massive 30-megapixel sensor.
While I'm using this Olympus. It's a mirrorless camera rather than a DSLR, so it doesn't have a mirror and has an electronic rather than optical viewfinder. This makes it smaller and lighter without compromising picture quality. It's got a smaller 20-megapixel sensor, but it does have some tricks up its sleeve.
Shoots up to 60 frames per second. It's got amazing image stabilization built into the body.
There's only one thing to do, and that's get snapping.
First, a quick chance to get to know our snappers.
Good. Splendid.
Oh, that was a nice one. In conditions like this, John, my camera is perfect. It's weatherproof and splash-proof, you see. Also, when I'm reviewing my pictures, I can pinch and zoom. Look at that. Beautiful.
The Olympus has a touchscreen too, but it's more flexible.
This tilt screen is just very useful because you can actually do selfies if you wanted to picture together.
I don't have that one.
Ah, good.
So, on first look, the Olympus seems more versatile. But now it's time to get on with the tests. The cameras work with a variety of interchangeable lenses, and we'll use a selection to get the best performance. First up, a portrait shot.
Bring it in. Shooting a black car against a bright background Hold it right there. will be a tough test.
So with a Canon, you've got a full-frame sensor. This should be the place to take advantage of that, whereas this is just a micro four thirds sensor, much smaller.
So I should be getting more detail on my images than you on yours?
More detail and probably better image quality.
The Canon's bigger sensor should capture more detail and light than the Olympus's.
This is so much easier with my flippable screen.
Yeah, I'm totally feeling you on that at the moment. How are you getting on?
I'm getting quite well. I'm using a lot of battery, though.
Both cameras have high dynamic range modes to help in tough contrasty situations like this. We're in.
When shooting HDR, the cameras combine multiple photos, allowing them to balance the dark and light areas. The Olympus has an added benefit too.
I've also got a high-res mode with this, which means it takes several shots at once and shifts the sensor very slightly between them, then combines them all together to get lots more detail even than that.
This high-res mode effectively boosts resolution to nearly 50 megapixels. But as the camera has to stay in exactly the same place for each shot, you do need a tripod. We'll compare the pictures later. Now it's time to test each camera's burst mode.
Shall we wave them in?
Yes.
Yeah.
And how well they can take fast action shots in quick succession.
They're rather good, aren't they?
They are rather good. I don't feel at all
In any danger. My Canon can shoot up to 7 stills per second, which is a little disappointing.
But the Olympus's quad-core image processor is incredibly fast, shooting up to 60 stills per second using the electronic shutter. To help the autofocus keep up with the fast cars, though, I'm shooting at 10 frames a second.
The 5D Mark IV's autofocus system is an improvement over the Mark III's, and it's giving me some sharp results. In terms of pin-sharp images and making the cars look as though they're just standing still, these are amazing. And the screen, I have to say,
your screen is
fantastic.
Is better than this one.
The only worry is how shooting so quickly is killing my battery.
My battery is flashing red occasionally, even though it says 51%.
Oh, okay. Just a bit.
Yeah.
Last but not least, video, now an essential feature for top-end snappers.
We're taking turns in drift expert Lisa's Nissan Skyline for a high-speed test of both cameras' 4K capabilities.
So the Olympus is set to 4K. I'll hit record. Right, we're recording. Okay, Lisa, let's go. This is exciting. It's how I'd love to drive on the car park. That's a proper handbrake turn. It's like a car chase. Right now, I should be telling you all about the Olympus's advanced 5-axis image stabilization. But I'm a little distracted. I love old Nissans. And in fact, the stabilization has turned out to be slightly disappointing. Because while it's smoothing out some of the extreme vibrations and G-forces, it is making it seem as if the camera's moving left to right, which it isn't. Brilliant! What fun. Let's see if that came out, hadn't we? Shall we do that?
All right, John, come out, my turn. How was it?
Brilliant.
Yeah?
Thoroughly recommend it. Lisa's brilliant.
Excellent.
Really enjoy it.
The Canon 5D has become a hit with filmmakers due to its relative affordability compared to video cameras. Right, so I'm going to press start to record. And flame on, is that what they say?
Something like that.
Yeah. So we have a 30 megapixel camera, which means we go, woo! Wait a minute! Yeah. Do not take your hands off the wheel. So we've got a 30 megapixel, I can't even speak. The Mark IV is the first 5D to offer 4K video recording, but it doesn't record video to all of the image sensor. That's no biggie for casual use. Yes, man! But it is a flaw for serious cinematographers. You've got loads of battery and you've got loads of memory card space. Yes! That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to enjoy it now. Woohoo! The video is crisp and surprisingly steady, but the recording can be a little temperamental. That's due to the incredibly high bitrate the 5D records video at, which even our high-end memory card isn't quite fast enough to capture faultlessly.
Whoa, what happened there? That's a $3,000 camera.
Yeah, if the camera stopped recording. When you're shooting on the Canon at 4K, it requires really high data transfer rates in its card, and we didn't have a card that was up to it.
It was supposed to be up to it, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
Anyway, they were both stills cameras, so let's have a look at some stills.
Yes.
Okay. And here is one of Otis's splendid shots of the Nissan in action on the Canon. And you see the image quality is really very, very high. You get lovely colours, lovely dynamic range. It's fantastic. Olympus shooting at a faster rate. I don't think the image quality is quite as good. It's still sharp, it's still a good picture, but it's just not quite as good in terms of image quality as the Canon. Again, we can go through the portraits of the car, the lovely lots of detail with both cameras, especially in the Olympus's high-res mode. But what really impressed me about the Olympus, actually, although the image stabilization wasn't that great on video on the day, I subsequently took some stills, the motorway bridge shots at night, and that's handheld with no tripod whatsoever, just holding the camera at about a 6-second exposure. The image stabilization is truly incredible.
That is good.
In a nutshell, what's the better camera?
Well, the Canon is a good camera, but because it's more versatile, because it's easier to carry, it's cheaper, and I think I'd use it more, I'd take the Olympus, I think.
Well, you heard it here first. Now, that part of the show